What's up, fam of Liberty, and everyone else who's watching but not subscribed, isn't following our channel for some mystifying reason? It's your boy Big Sarge, the artist not formerly, known as Admin Tim, the founder of Sons of Liberty social media organization that's been steadily enraging MAGA fuckface ass clowns since about 2015. If you saw us out in the streets at a protest for the first time or you're new to our channel, I know what you might be thinking, so let me go ahead and get this out of the way. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck GOP politicians. Fuck limp dick establishment Democrat politicians that aren't out there in these streets fighting for us tooth and nail every single day. And also fuck the billionaires. These fucking wealth hoarders that have their fucking boot on the neck of just about every American citizen. Neither this channel nor its comments sections are a safe space for bootlicking simps for a Russian asset, convicted felon, adjudicated rapist, Wish.com fastest oligarch, failed insurrectionist, wannabe authoritarian tyrant, Russian simp, or a self-confessed lover of very young girls, a guy who was friends for over a decade with a convicted pedophile. Obviously, I'm talking about Donald Trump. So if you're still here and you're not frantically rage typing into the comments box like a triggered conservative snowflake who's asked about Ukraine for some dumb reason, but you don't even know where it is on the map, and obviously you only knew Fox News and he didn't tell you, then maybe you should consider following this channel after you watch this video and deciding whether or not that you like the cut of my jib. Today's action items for the fam of Liberty. Tonight we have a special live stream with comedian and clapback master Steve Hofstetter. The live stream will, as usual, be on the Sons of Liberty YouTube and Facebook, and will start at 7 p.m. Eastern or 6 p.m. Central. Instead of running the usual BWC Films footage, I will be instead showing some clips of Steve's comedy, if you're not familiar, mixed in with some hardcore punk rock tracks that I've been working on lately. Yes, there may be an album in the near future. Tomorrow's live stream is still on. We'll be talking with Army veteran and Michigan congressional candidate Elyon Badger. I've also got Cliff Cash and Jessica Denson on Tuesday the 26th. And big announcement. Do y'all like Father Nathan Monk? Well, he'll be joining me for a special live stream on Wednesday, August 27th at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Tuesday, September the 2nd, we need as many boots on the ground in Washington, D.C. as possible. We will be welcoming back the degenerates in Congress who took their break a few days early so that they wouldn't have to vote on legislation to release the Epstein files. You know, I remember when the Republican Party was the party of law and order, when we could rely on truth and justice as part of the American way. Yes, those were the glory days that I, for one, wish we could return to. The days when some old white dude's affair with a sex worker was the biggest scandal, and Republicans were hard on crimes such as pedophilia and sex trafficking, not hard for pedophilia, if you know what I mean. Anyway, September 2nd, be in DC with your boy Big Sarge and our admins and staff and other fam of Liberty. If you don't already have a Sons of Liberty shirt, make sure you get one if you want to show up and show who you're with. It's not mandatory, just letting you know. In case you missed it, Donald Trump, a known Russian asset, invited former KGB officer turned Russian dictator for life, Vladimir Putin, to the state of Alaska, itself a former Russian territory that was purchased for 2 cents per acre in 1867. Seward's folly is a term that was derisively used to describe the purchase, as it was primarily championed by Secretary of State William H. Seward. It was initially seen by many Americans at the time as foolish and wasteful, as Alaska was considered a vast frozen wasteland. America was still recovering from economic setbacks caused by the American Civil War, the cost of defeating the conservative slave-owning oligarchs who betrayed the nation, and then we were also rebuilding the war-torn states. However, the discovery of gold in the Klondike region later vindicated that purchase, demonstrating its strategic and economic value. The purchase also ultimately expanded the United States' influence in the Pacific region, and, bonus, it contributed to its future growth. Vladimir Putin has adopted a point of view that insists that he must rebuild the former Soviet Union, taking over or otherwise acquiring all of the Russian Empire and USSR's previously held territories. Ukraine is one of those territories, and that's one of the reasons that Donald Trump, a convicted felon, was meeting with his master, a convicted war criminal. The two criminals and oligarchs met to discuss putting an end to the war in Ukraine, which Russia started by invading the sovereign nation. Not invited to the summit was Ukraine. It's kind of weird, right? Like, why would you discuss ending a war in a country but not invite that country? Probably because Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is a certified badass and more of a leader and strategist than Trump, who couldn't even write a book about the art of the deal because he's largely illiterate. So today, European leaders are joining Volodymyr Zelensky, who is scheduled to meet again with Donald Trump this afternoon. I'm betting that Trump tries to strong-arm Zelensky again, like he did before in that infamous televised dog and pony show that was strictly to give America's ass up to Putin's dick so that he could fuck us. I also bet that the P-tape is real, considering how much Trump is bending over to let Putin give him the cock. Trump has, again, flip-flopped on Russia and Putin, basically rewarding Putin for failing to meet Trump's own deadline for agreeing to a ceasefire. Since the summit, Trump has completely abandoned his demand for a rapid ceasefire and his threat to impose sanctions, and is increasingly taken Putin's view that instead of the war in Ukraine can only be ended by a comprehensive settlement, quote unquote. Russia is so emboldened by Trump's sudden reversal that allegedly Russian units are now flying both the U.S. flag and the Russian flag as they roll their vehicles into and through Ukraine. I'm not sure if that's legit or some propaganda, and consider the source. In the most blatant betrayal of all, Trump is reportedly going to demand that Ukraine give up Crimea, which Russia currently occupies, and that Ukraine must agree to never join NATO, which Ukraine wants, but Russia insists upon not happening, to a point where any country that encourages or endorses Ukraine joining NATO is on the receiving end of threats from Russia, which is laughable because Russia's military has suffered significant weakening in personnel and equipment during the war in Ukraine. Estimates suggest over 790,000 Russian soldiers have been killed or wounded. Russia has also lost vast numbers of armored fighting vehicles, tanks, and artillery, not to mention losing a lot of its fucking submarines and surface warships and a whole bunch of other equipment. Russia had the fourth largest military in the world and is now the fifth due to its heavy losses. Anyway, I'm looking forward to President Zelensky telling Trump to fuck off. That's my rant for today. Make sure you do not miss tonight's special live stream with Steve Hofstetter or tomorrow's live stream with Elyon Badger. Big Sarge out here. 2 claps and a Rick. Join or die. 1 team, 1 fight. No one is coming to save you but you. Woo!
And now it's time for the Throatpunch!